How a woman feels when she realizes she lost you. High value. Men must know how a woman feels when she realizes she lost you. High-value men must know. When a woman finally realizes she's lost a high-value man, it's not just about missing someone. It's a profound wake-up call. She starts to recognize the things she once overlooked. Every thoughtful action, every steady moment of support, every quality she brushed off. This isn't just regret. It's a reckoning with the fact that some losses leave a void that can't be filled. Stick around, because what she feels runs much deeper than you might imagine, and understanding this could redefine how you move forward. Section 1. The initial shock and denial. The first wave of realization hits like a sudden storm, confusing, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. At first, her ego may shield her from the depth of the loss, convincing her that she's fine without you. She might dismiss the feeling as no big deal, but as the days go by, cracks start to show. The shock feels like a slap in the face, a moment of clarity when she realizes she's lost something valuable. In her mind, she never truly believed you would walk away. She thought there would always be time to fix things, or that you'd continue showing up. Now she finds herself replaying moments with you, scrolling through old texts, revisiting photos, and dissecting past conversations. Her mind fixates on where things went wrong. She might cling to tiny details, hoping they'll provide answers. Her pride will still whisper, "You're better off without him." But her heart starts telling a different story. Memories she tried to suppress resurface with sharp clarity, and with each one, the truth becomes harder to ignore. She may have lost one of the best things that ever happened to her. This phase isn't just painful because she lost you. It's also a blow to how she sees herself. She begins to question her own decisions. Did I take him for granted? Could I have been more understanding? Was I wrong about him all along? As her ego begins to falter, the reality sets in. Losing you wasn't something she was prepared for. Now, she's left wondering if anyone else could ever fill the space you once occupied. Section 2. The comparison game begins. Once the initial shock fades, she slips into a new phase. Comparison. Every man she meets becomes a yardstick against which she measures you, your presence, your qualities, and your impact. She might go on dates, meet new people, and try to move on, but there's an undeniable shadow over every interaction, and that shadow is you. Each encounter is filtered through the lens of what you offered, and more often than not, others fall short. This stage isn't just about casual comparisons. It's a deep dive into what truly matters to her. When she meets men who lack the patience you showed, the ambition you carried, or the calmness you brought during tough times, she starts to see just how rare those qualities are. She'll recall moments when you stood by her, your resilience in challenging situations, and your unwavering support. These traits now shine brightly in her memory, and she realizes they were never as common as she once thought. Even mundane moments can trigger this comparison. She'll notice how others handle stress, communicate, or show affection, and find herself missing the ways you stood out. It's a humbling process, and one that drives home an uncomfortable truth. Some connections can't be replaced. As she watches other relationships around her, she'll find herself quietly analyzing and contrasting, noting the gaps between what she sees and what she had with you. Each time someone falls short, it deepens the ache, the growing understanding that what you shared was not only special, but unique. Through this process, she starts to realize that being a high-value man isn't just about having surface-level traits. It's about embodying values and principles that are rare, steadfast, and deeply impactful. And now she understands. Those qualities aren't just hard to come by. They're nearly impossible to replicate. Aren't just surface-level traits, but deep-rooted values. The qualities she once took for granted weren't superficial. They were deeply ingrained values that shaped every decision you made. Traits like your self-discipline, patience, and dedication were more than behaviors. They reflected a core strength that few people possess. Now, in hindsight, she begins to admire these qualities in a way she never did before. She realizes that these traits are not just rare, they're transformative. They had the power to create stability, growth, and connection in her life, and losing them has left a void that feels impossible to fill. As her understanding deepens, so does her regret. Every new encounter that lacks the depth and authenticity you brought only magnifies her sense of loss. Section 3. Regret and self-reflection. Once the initial shock fades, she's left with a heavy weight of regret. At this stage, distractions no longer work. The void you left isn't something casual dating or new hobbies can fix. She's forced to sit with her thoughts and, for the first time, truly confront herself. The regret runs deeper than missing you. It's about realizing that she lost not just a partner, but a version of herself she admired when she was with you. She begins to reflect on the choices that led to this point. The careless words, the dismissive moments, and the times she let pride win over understanding replay in her mind like an unrelenting loop. In these quiet moments, she starts asking herself hard questions. Did I truly value him, or did I let my insecurities cloud my judgment? Could I have been kinder, more supportive, more present? These reflections are sobering. They force her to acknowledge that it wasn't just one mistake that led to losing you. It was a series of small, seemingly insignificant choices that eroded the foundation of your relationship over time. This phase is humbling. It's a painful but necessary reckoning where she confronts her emotional immaturity, insecurities, and the role her ego played in driving you away. She begins to understand that you weren't just a good partner. You were someone who embodied principles of loyalty, patience, and integrity, traits she now realizes are incredibly rare. Through this process, she starts to grasp the gravity of what she lost. You weren't just a person in her life, you were a reflection of what she could have aspired to become. Section 4. The desire for reconnection. As the regret deepens, so does the urge to reconnect. She feels an overwhelming need to reach out, not just to say sorry, but to try and reclaim what she lost. This isn't a fleeting impulse. It's a deep longing born from the realization that your presence made her feel safe, valued, and understood in a way she hasn't experienced since. The thought of rekindling what you shared consumes her, and she begins to wonder if there's any way to mend the broken bridge. She might replay conversations in her head, thinking about what she would say if given another chance. Her desire to reconnect stems not from desperation, but from a genuine understanding that what you shared was rare and meaningful. Yet this stage comes with a bittersweet truth. By the time she realizes this, it's often too late. You've moved on, grown stronger, and likely found clarity about what you need in a partner. Qualities she may no longer be in a position to provide. Still, the desire to reconnect remains. Even if it's only a distant hope, it lingers as a testament to the impact you had on her life. Section 5. Acceptance and growth. Eventually, after cycling through regret and longing, she arrives at a place of acceptance. This isn't a sudden epiphany or a peaceful resolution. It's more of a resigned understanding that some losses are permanent. She begins to accept that her chance with you has passed and that she must face the consequences of her actions. In this phase, she turns inward, using the pain as fuel for personal growth. She recognizes that losing you wasn't just about losing a partner. It was about losing the opportunity to grow alongside someone exceptional. This experience becomes a lesson, one that shapes how she approaches future relationships. She learns to value loyalty, patience, and integrity in a way she never did before. Most importantly, She learns to recognize the importance of cherishing what she has when she has it. Acceptance doesn't erase the ache of losing you, but it allows her to move forward with a deeper understanding of herself and what she truly needs in a partner. It's a quiet tribute to the rare and irreplaceable connection you brought into her life. The chance to be with someone like you has passed. Accepting that her opportunity to be with you has truly slipped away is a sobering realization. It forces her to grow, confront old patterns, and take responsibility for the choices that led to this loss. In doing so, she learns a profound lesson, one that reshapes how she approaches future relationships. Though she may never meet someone quite like you again, this acceptance transforms her perspective. She starts to value traits like loyalty, integrity, and humility in a way she never did before. More than losing a partner, she recognizes that she also lost a version of herself she admired when she was with you, a version she couldn't sustain. This newfound self-awareness becomes the foundation for rebuilding her life. It motivates her to approach future connections with maturity and to cherish the good things while she has them. Yet, no matter how much she grows, a part of her will always remember you, not as just another chapter, but as a pivotal lesson in valuing the rare and irreplaceable qualities of a high-value man. Section 6. The lingering reminders. Even as she begins to accept her loss, she's surrounded by reminders of you. These aren't just old photos or mutual friends. They're woven into the fabric of her everyday life. A song on the radio, a scent that brings back a vivid memory, or passing by a restaurant you both loved, all these small triggers catch her off guard. They bring back flashes of moments when she felt safe, valued, and deeply connected. Even mundane activities hold echoes of you. Hearing someone mention a book you recommended, or revisiting a place tied to your shared history, can send waves of emotion crashing over her. Each reminder is a quiet but powerful testament to the emotional imprint you left. At first, she might try to dismiss these reminders as insignificant, but over time, their persistence deepens her understanding of just how much you meant to her. These aren't just memories, they're proof of a connection built on genuine depth and understanding. The reminders become bittersweet, reflecting both the joy you brought into her life and the void left by your absence. They're like whispers of what could have been, constant and unrelenting. Section 7. The growing sense of emptiness. With these reminders comes a growing emptiness, an ache that no new experience or person seems able to fill. This emptiness isn't just about missing you. It's about missing how you made her feel, seen, valued, and respected in ways she hasn't felt since. She might try to distract herself with hobbies, work, or new relationships. But these efforts only provide fleeting relief. The emptiness remains, a silent reminder of the unique bond you shared. This bond wasn't built on surface-level compatibility. It was grounded in a profound understanding and connection. The realization of this depth makes her loss feel even heavier. She begins to understand that you didn't just offer companionship, you added meaning, stability, and growth to her life. As this void lingers, it forces her to confront what she truly lost. She starts to wish she had held on to you more tightly, appreciated you more deeply, and valued the connection you provided. Section 8. Realizing the depth of her mistakes. In her quietest moments of reflection, the full weight of her mistakes comes into focus. She begins to see, with painful clarity, the actions and attitudes that contributed to your departure. This isn't just about regret. It's about understanding the specific behaviors that drove a wedge between you. She recalls the times she dismissed your efforts, undervalued your qualities, or let pride guide her responses instead of understanding. She reflects on the arguments where she chose ego over empathy, the moments when her insecurities made her push you away, and the opportunities for kindness and support that she let slip by. These realizations hit hard because they reveal the truth. It wasn't one big mistake that led to losing you, but a series of small, avoidable choices that eroded your relationship over time. This phase is deeply humbling. For the first time, she confronts her own flaws, her inability to communicate effectively, her tendency to take you for granted, and her failure to nurture the rare qualities you brought into her life. Each memory feels magnified, and with it comes the understanding that your patience, loyalty, and integrity weren't just rare, they were priceless. This self-awareness, though painful, becomes a pivotal moment of growth. She begins to realize that losing you wasn't just about the end of a relationship. It was about losing the opportunity to grow alongside someone exceptional, a loss she'll carry with her as a powerful lesson for the future. Kindness and taking efforts for granted. As she reflects on the past, the memories of small but pivotal moments come rushing back. Times when she let pride dictate her responses or dismissed your efforts instead of appreciating them. She recalls arguments where she chose defensiveness over understanding, pushing you away instead of building a bridge. This realization is deeply humbling. It dawns on her that it wasn't one grand mistake that led to losing you, but an accumulation of small, careless choices. Each unkind word, missed opportunity to show support, or failure to express gratitude chipped away at the foundation of your relationship. These memories now feel magnified in her mind, each one a sharp reminder of how she eroded the connection you built together. This phase is particularly painful because it requires her to take accountability, something she may have resisted in the past. She confronts the hard truth that the loss she feels isn't just because you walked away, but because she failed to nurture the qualities you brought into her life. Your patience, understanding, and loyalty weren't just admirable traits, they were rare gifts, and she now sees how she took them for granted. Section 9. The desire to improve herself. This painful self-awareness sparks a genuine desire for change. Losing you becomes a wake-up call, pushing her to recognize the parts of herself that need growth and healing. She starts to see how her communication struggles, misplaced pride, or inability to fully trust held her back from experiencing a truly meaningful connection. This phase isn't easy. It's uncomfortable and raw, forcing her to confront aspects of herself she had long ignored or justified. But now, with the clarity of hindsight, she's motivated to make meaningful changes, not just to avoid future regrets, but to become the kind of person capable of sustaining a high-value relationship. She might dive into self-help books, seek therapy, or lean on trusted friends for advice. What she once dismissed as unnecessary now feels essential. Every step she takes towards self-improvement is fueled by the memory of what you represented in her life: stability, kindness, and emotional depth. Her journey is not about undoing the past, it's about building a better future. She knows she can't turn back time, but she's determined to grow from the experience. Losing you has taught her a profound lesson. High-value relationships require effort, vulnerability, and the willingness to nurture the qualities that make them extraordinary. In a way, this desire to improve is her tribute to the impact you had on her life. She understands that to welcome someone of your caliber into her world again, she must become someone who values and nurtures such a connection. This phase, though bittersweet, becomes a turning point, one that reshapes her understanding of love, respect, and personal growth.